This is the story of an empire that never truly died. It began with a shepherd boy and a wolf. It ended with a crumbling city, echoing with forgotten glory. And in between, it reshaped the world. This is the entire history of the Roman Empire. Long before armies marched and emperors ruled, there were stories. In the shadowy mists of legend, two brothers, Romulus and Remus, were abandoned on the banks of the Tiber River. Nurtured by a she-wolf, they would one day found a city. But power, even in myth, demands sacrifice. Romulus killed his brother, declared himself king, and gave his name to Rome. Whether or not this tale is true, by the 8th century BCE, a small cluster of huts had begun to grow on the Palatine Hill. Rome was born not in marble, but in mud. The early Roman kingdom was not unlike its neighbors. It was ruled by kings, steeped in religion, and surrounded by rival tribes. But it was ambitious. 7 kings would reign, each adding something to Rome: walls, sewers, temples, institutions. And then came Tarquin the Proud, a tyrant whose abuses sparked a revolution. The Romans had tasted monarchy, and they would never again stomach a king. In 509 BCE, the Republic was born. Power no longer rested in one man, but in a delicate dance between consuls, senators, and assemblies. In theory, the people ruled. In practice, the aristocracy tightened its grip. Rome expanded, first by survival, then by dominance. The Latin League, the Samnites, the Etruscans, one by one, they were absorbed or destroyed. And when the city of Carthage threatened Roman trade, the Republic responded with fury. The Punic Wars were brutal. Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, famously crossed the Alps with elephants and terrorized Italy for years. But Rome endured. At Zama, Scipio Africanus broke Carthage's back. By the end of the Third Punic War, Rome had not only defeated Carthage, it had erased it. The Republic now controlled most of the Mediterranean. But victory brought rot. With conquest came wealth. With wealth came corruption. Landowners grew rich. Soldiers returned home to find their farms seized. Reformers like the Gracchi brothers tried to fix it. They were murdered. Generals stopped fighting for Rome and started fighting for themselves. Sulla marched on the city. Pompey and Crassus rose to power. And then came Julius Caesar. Caesar was brilliant, charismatic, and dangerous. His conquest of Gaul made him a hero. His crossing of the Rubicon made him a traitor. The die is cast, he said, and the Republic's fate was sealed. After defeating Pompey, Caesar declared himself dictator for life. Some cheered, others sharpened their knives. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, they struck. Caesar fell, but the Republic did not revive. It collapsed. Out of the chaos rose Caesar's adopted son, Octavian. Clever, cautious, and politically shrewd, Octavian defeated his rivals Antony and Cleopatra among them and offered to restore the Republic. The Senate, grateful and afraid, named him Augustus. He accepted. In truth, he held absolute power. The Republic was dead. The empire was born. Under Augustus, Rome entered a golden age. Roads stretched across Europe. Trade flourished. The arts bloomed. The legions guarded the borders. For the first time in history, the Mediterranean world was united under one flag, the Pax Romana. For the next 2 centuries, emperors came and went, some wise, others mad. Tiberius brooded. Caligula raged. Claudius surprised. Nero burned. The year of the 4 emperors tested the empire's stability, but it survived. The Flavians rebuilt. The 5 good emperors ruled with justice and restraint. Trajan expanded Rome to its greatest extent, Britain to Mesopotamia. Hadrian built walls to hold it. Marcus Aurelius fought off barbarians while penning Stoic philosophy. But beneath the surface, the cracks widened. As Rome's borders stretched thin, enemies gathered strength. In the 3rd century CE, the empire teetered. Civil war, plague, inflation, a century of chaos. Emperor Diocletian tried to fix it by splitting the empire into east and west. For a while, it worked. Then came Constantine. Constantine saw a cross in the sky before battle. He won. He converted. Christianity, once persecuted, became the empire's official faith. The capital moved east to Byzantium, renamed Constantinople. The west grew weaker. The east grew richer. Rome was no longer Roman. Barbarian tribes, Visigoths, Vandals, Huns, pressed at the gates. Rome, once invincible, begged for mercy. In 410 CE, it was sacked for the first time in 800 years. By 476 CE, the last Roman emperor in the West was deposed. He was a child named Romulus. The circle had closed. The Roman Empire was dead, or so it seemed. But empires don't vanish overnight. The Eastern Roman Empire, what we call the Byzantine Empire, survived for another 1,000 years. Its scholars preserve Roman law, Its armies bore Roman eagles, and across Europe, echoes of Rome lived on, in languages, laws, cities, and dreams. The Roman Republic inspired revolutions. The Roman Empire warned of excess. Together, they shaped the modern world. Rome is gone, but in 1,000 silent ways, it still rules,